Welcome to the Wednesday Match Play, your weekly connection to the biggest and best brands in golf. On this show you will learn more about the latest golf fashion trends, hear from LPGA and PGA Tour players, get advice on planning your next golf getaway, and much more. Broadcasting live from Palm Desert, California, now on the tee, Ricky Potts.
For more than 4 decades, Heritage Creations has helped the nation's most distinguished clubs honor their legacy and elevate the member experience. Heritage creates innovative awards for signature events and custom pieces that reflect each club's unique identity. From complete clubhouse transformations to experiential environments and Heritage interactive touchscreens, every solution is designed to inspire, engage, and endure. Heritage Creations is a proud sponsor of the PGA of America and the California and Florida chapters of CMAA.
Saddleback Golf Club is a public 18-hole golf course located in Firestone, Colorado, about 30 miles north of Denver. It's known for being an affordable, player-friendly course with a fun personality and a relaxed atmosphere. On this episode of the Wednesday Match Play podcast, powered by Heritage Creations USA, Whitey introduces us to Saddleback Golf Club and shares what makes this unique facility stand out. He discusses the club's use of autonomous mowers, robotic range pickers, and his connection to the NGCOA. We also dive into the club's feature in Golf Digest, water conservation initiatives, dynamic pricing, and his advice for golf course owners and operators navigating today's industry. This was a heartfelt conversation, and it was an honor to have Whitey on the show. Let's tee off. This is going to be a fantastic conversation because I just met this guy a few weeks ago through another guest that I've been trying to get on this podcast for years, but man, am I excited about this one. Whitey, welcome to the Wednesday Match Play podcast, powered by Heritage Creations USA.
Thank you, Ricky. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate being on board here.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. You are doing some really cool stuff at this club, and we're going to go down a couple of rabbit holes here, but I'm looking forward to the conversation. How are you and the team at Saddleback Golf Club, and are you ready for a busy summer that we're in the middle of it right now here at the end of July, but ready for a busy summer ahead?
We didn't have a winter, so we went right from fall to spring. So we've been asses and elbows all winter long. So our crew's been hitting it hard all winter. So we're already going. So we're ready.
Well, if you come visit me here in the Coachella Valley, we have hot and really hot. So we're in that really hot phase where it doesn't really drop below 100 degrees. So if you like playing in the heat, the golf courses are in great shape, but there's nobody outside because it's too hot. We just stay inside in the AC.
Right.
Well, tell me more about Saddleback Golf Club. Where is it located, and what makes it stand out from other golf facilities, maybe in the region or across the nation?
Oh, well, that's a good question. We're just north of Denver, about 20 minutes. Just north of Denver, Colorado. And what makes us stand out, I think, is our ability to take a little bit more of an edgy marketing stance. We tend to be a little bit more out there with our marketing, and we make TV commercials and what have you, and we put it on the Golf Channel, and that's something that we're pretty well known for. And our marketing is usually tends to be a little bit edgy at times, and people appreciate that because it makes us kind of a real golf course. But also another thing that we recently, and we didn't really intend for it, but it kind of hit us all at once, was the technology side of it. You know, we went to fully autonomous mowers on all. We have 17 robotic mowers mowing the golf course, and we've got an automated range where the autonomous picker picks the balls and puts it into a basket out in the golf course, and it blows it up into our range room inside of our new teaching center. And that it washes them automatically and puts them into a dispenser. So that's another new technology. And also we have a beer dispensing machine that kind of reads your ID and dispenses beer out on the golf course, and that's a kind of a new technology. So it's been all kind of hitting us all at once, and we've done a whole heck of a lot the last 12 months, and we're about ready for it to stop, to tell
Well,
you the
you just
truth.
mentioned a lot of cool stuff there. I mean, I knew that you had some autonomous mowers, but I didn't realize you had that many. We have one here at the Springs, and unfortunately, we have issues with cell phone service, so it sometimes will just stop when we'll cut in the middle of a fairway. But we'll talk about those mowers, and you got my attention there with the beer dispensing machines. What are those? Like, I want to just come see it for that.
Well, yeah, it's cool. We had our initial forte into it was with a company called Ziget, and that was where you had to download an app. And but this new one that didn't work out. They went bankrupt, I think. And this new one is called Dispension, and this one you don't have to download an app. You just put your ID into the slot, and it looks at your picture and it compares it to the picture it takes right there as you're standing there. And it's super fast. It's actually probably faster than our cart person can dispense a beer from the cart, and it's just so far it's been working. A few hiccups with how the door opens and closes, but working those out as we go, and it's been a hit so far.
Well, what was your journey to Saddleback Golf Club, and how long have you been involved in the golf business? Just give us a 10,000 foot overview of who you are and what led you to this facility.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, back in the early '90s, I was working in right outside of Minneapolis, and I had the ability to help my brothers. We built a golf course there as a family venture in the early '90s, and I ended up doing that. And then 93, 94, started another company, underground utility company, and then ended up wanting to get back into golf because I really enjoyed building it. So I didn't come to the game from the love of the game as much as I did as the love of building them and watching the grass grow from the irrigation side of it when you first turn it on and it all works and it works like you designed it to. So we in '98 we moved to Colorado. We had the opportunity to join a partnership, and we joined the partnership, and I worked for 2 years for free, and my wife supported the family, and then we built the golf course here in Saddleback and Firestone, and now her and I are the sole owners of Saddleback, and it's been good ever since. Yeah.
That's really cool. And I think love and passion play a lot of into what we all do. And the golf industry, I mean, just look at it. I mean, I'd rather go out and shoot 95 and spend a good time on the golf course with my buddies than to sit at home. And I think that just the whole industry, and I work in the private club space, but within HOAs as well, you're on the daily fee side. Like there's so many different ways that you can run an operation, but the industry itself has changed so much. I mean, over the last 20 years. What has surprised you the most about the evolution of public golf over the last 2 decades?
I think it's getting to be a little bit more uh, willing to accept new technology. It's not nearly as fast as it should be, but I remember back when we first opened Saddleback, we had a book for golf, and it was our online tee sheet, and that it was absolutely beautiful and it worked perfectly. But it went bankrupt in '01 because it was just way ahead of its time. It didn't. We went and it took another 10 years for it to get back to what we had in 2001. But yeah, I would say the accepting of new innovations and stuff like the dynamic pricing models. We tried that in 2016, and we thought, this isn't working. We were essentially doing dynamic discounting, so the price is all the top end of the price was always the same, and we'd only discount from that price. And we said, the hell with that. We were going to throw it away. And we said, well, if we're going to throw it away, let's just try taking the top off a little bit and see how that works. And that led to a whole different way of doing business. So we found that tee times that we thought were worthless were actually worth quite a bit more. And, the other tee times were priced accordingly at what the demand was. So it was a real eye opener. But I would say that was the biggest thing as far as the changes I've seen is the acceptance of innovation. And the autonomous mowers they're going to be a thing. It's not if I think that they are going to be a thing that everybody will go to them.
I mean, I can mow the rough at 2 o'clock in the morning because nobody hears it. And I think that we've got a couple of ways that we're going to be able to use them here at the Springs. And obviously, the undulation of the golf course may be restrictive in some places. But how did you know you were going to put autonomous mowers? Did you try it out? Just talk to me about that, the company you worked with. I mean, what an awesome opportunity for you to be able to invest into that technology and then I'm assuming that you didn't replace the staff, you just moved those staff to other things on the operation.
That's 100% what happened, and it is happening. Um, we went through a whole learning curve. My general manager, who wasn't a superintendent, and then we made him a general manager, is Rob Fleming. Him and I and our team, my wife, we really looked into the how they're using this technology and who's using it. And Randy Anderson from the Northeast, Maine, he has one golf course, and he went from doing the whole golf course to another. So I learned a lot from him. But they've been doing it over in Europe for 10 years. Once again, America is way behind the learning curve as far as adopting technology. Um, uh, so, that gave me a high degree of comfort, and the level of sophistication that these machines are is just, they're not perfect, but, either is a fairway mower or a rough mower, when you go out there and you play a men's league and you see streaks going down the fairway from a hydraulic leak, you say, what the hell, that it's really frustrating. So, we don't have those anymore. I mean, you won't get a hydraulic leak. You'll have other inconveniences, but it's all part and parcel, right?
Well, I think the most important part of that is there was a club right across the street from the Springs that introduced them a few years ago, and they've even taken robots into the clubhouse. And there's a company called Caddy Robotics that we've done some work with in the Coachella Valley that in the dining room there are robots that follow the servers around so they don't have to carry four, six plates and three drinks. The robot does that, and you can control it and schedule it to go to certain places of the dining room, and it helps with putting the servers on the floor more than bussing dishes and being in the kitchen and grabbing plates of food. And I just think that to your point about golf being behind, yeah, they've been using these in Europe for years, and I think that it's going to catch on. And when operators realize how affordable they are and how much manpower it can put elsewhere to really enhance the experience for the golfers on the course, I think it's going to be a big thing coming very soon.
Yeah, two of us. Yeah, and I think that, AI is going to be a big thing. I mean, obviously AI is going to be, but how's it going to affect golf? I can see how it could, I have Yamatrack on my golf carts, and I can see how AI could be watching, the flow, the pace and flow of the golf course, and it can identify a problem, 10 minutes before I do, or 15 minutes before I know it's a real problem, and it can send us an alerts because it's looking at it every second and making those little micro decisions that we could be making if we were watching it every second.
Well, I use artificial intelligence all day, every day, and I am at the point that I'm reliant on it. I mean, I drive a Tesla and my car drives itself, and I trust it 1,000%. I get in the car, I punch in where I'm going, I press a button, I just sit there and I almost relax on my way to and from work. And it's wild because A, it's driving itself, it's making lane changes. I set it to how fast I want it to go over the speed limit if I choose, and I feel safe in it. But I think that from an AI perspective and an operator's point of view, I'm using it to send emails and to make sure that I sound smart. And yeah, it takes me some time, but it's a more consistent product that I'm putting out there, whether it's through the communication from me to the membership or it's in my communication from me to you, and just to make sure that everything's spelled correctly and that I'm not missing
Yeah.
anything.
But I see it being used out in the maintenance too, as far as, you look at we're driving over this turf with mowers and with sprayers and all this. They could have devices where it can really sense and look at what does each leaf look like, and then adjust your or your fertilization program per nozzle on where to spray this because it's going to be so precise. So I see it, really being advantageous for maintenance and maybe controlling speed of play and pricing, and the dynamic pricing will get better, and all I can see a lot of good things coming out of it.
Well, Saddleback was just recognized by Golf Digest as one of the friendliest golf courses in America. That is just awesome. What does that recognition mean to you, and how do you create a culture where the guests and the staff feel welcome the moment they arrive on property?
That is something that we highly prize, is that acknowledgement. We, we build that by talking to the pro shop and every the food and beverage and the bars. Everybody that there's a touch is hey, listen, when you see somebody come in and they're looking around or they have their bag and they're carrying it into the pro shop, you know they're new. I mean, they're looking around. They don't know where a number one tee is. Stop and just take an extra 10 seconds and say, welcome, and say, hey, welcome to Saddleback. And I know you're going out. And just remember, on number seven, there's two fairways. There's an upper and a lower, and then there's a hidden lake on number six. If you didn't know it, you might hit your ball into. They won't remember any of it, but what they will remember is that somebody took the time to acknowledge them and tell them something that was nice. So, we try to get that across. It's a hard thing to teach, but we carry it through, and we try to be, and all of our management style too is more um, educational as opposed to a punishment type of thing. So um, that's kind of our forte at Saddleback.
That makes me think of the book Unreasonable Hospitality. Have you read that book, or do you know much of the teachings from Will Guidara?
No, I don't.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. And the book is just one of the most spectacular things. He was owned a restaurant in New York City, and I won't go too far down this rabbit hole. We could talk for hours about this book, but he was named one of the top 50 restaurants in the world and was certain that he was the first and wasn't, and was upset that he wasn't the first, and thinking that you're one of the top 50 restaurants on the planet and you're mad you're not number one. And then what he did to go back to get him and his team to become number one. And in that book, there's a story that's so specific. It talks about this group of businessmen that were in, and their steps of service. You would walk by the table, and someone overheard these businessmen say that they had been in New York all week for meetings, but they had never tried a authentic New York City hot dog. And that person didn't stop walking, went out to the corner, got 8 of those hot dogs, went into the kitchen, had the chef prepare it in 11 Madison Park style. And those people, and me included, are talking about that hot dog, not about the $1,000 bottle of wine that they're having or the meetings they were in that week. They're talking about a hot dog, and I can just tell that you've got that with you just mentioned an upper and a lower fairway. Like that's awesome. Like I want to come play it just to see that. So
Yeah.
put that on the top of your reading list because it's a
It truly
spectacular
is the
book.
little things. Yeah, it's the little things that people, in this day and age, there's 20 or 30% of people that don't want to be acknowledged and really want to talk to other people, but there's another 20, 30% of people that really do. They want to be engaged. They want to be acknowledged. They want a friendly word. Uh, So,
Well, to that point, you mentioned somebody that's walking around and might look new, and the staff's going to embrace them. But when someone does play Saddleback for the first time, what do you hope they remember most when they drive away from the property?
that's a good question. Yeah, I would hope they see that it's a well maintained, well kept facility. People were friendly. They smiled. They had a uniform on. They were everybody was friendly, and the course conditions. I mean, we pride ourselves on having really good course conditions. I mean, our green speeds are up. We try to maintain the we put through over 40,000 rounds of golf a year, and keeping the ball marks to a dull roar on a public facility is a holy smokes, that's a full-time endeavor. So that and divots and repairs in the fairways, just the little things, and the areas that are getting trampled down, trying to keep those maintained. And um, hopefully when they leave the facility, they say it's a well-maintained facility. It was a great round of golf because of that.
Well, if they're engaging with the staff the way that you've outlined too, it sounds like a spot that just feels comfy and a place that I want to go play. And you being a golf course owner, it makes sense that you're involved with the NGCOA, but you are also the president of the National Golf Course Owners Association. Awesome that Jake Aaron was just on this show a few weeks ago and that was the conduit to our connection. But how did you first become involved with the NGCOA, and what does serving as president mean to you both personally and professionally?
Well, I first got involved with it. We built the first golf course in Wisconsin, and when we started building the Saddleback in '98, I've never operated a course before. So when we opened it in '01, which we're going to have our anniversary here soon, 25 years, where I didn't know everything I needed to know about operating a golf course. So the answers were at the NGCOA. I mean, every golf course in the United States should belong to the NGCOA. Period. End of conversation. It's like being fed with a fire hose of information. if you've got a question, there's 30 people out there readily willing and able to give you an answer to your question. And I found that to be true. So, you go to the seminars on a yearly basis and you put up, you post questions on the blog site and you get a whole bunch of answers. And it's like, holy smokes, there's a depth and breadth of experience out there that you can count on. So that was my foray into it. And, after sucking all the information I could out of it, I, started attending the seminars and giving feedback. And you know how that works. Once you give feedback, then now you all of a sudden you're part of the process. So I, started giving back a little bit of my time. That's how essentially I got involved.
Well, that's cool. And I am very involved with CMAA and the Golden State chapter of CMAA, and I sit on the board of the Golden State chapter, and it just means so much to me to give back for what I get from it. And I can tell that it's very similar with the NGCOA. Now, with that same recommendation of being involved with NGCOA as a member-owned facility on the private side, do you see value in that?
And the oh yeah, as a private golf facility, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so the Springs
Oh
is
hell
a
yeah, yeah,
member-owned
yeah. I
facility. Okay,
mean,
okay.
I mean, I'm going to say this, and I think it's almost more important because I think in the private industry, the golf industry, it tends to it can get te it tend to get more of a siloed effect due to just being in that type of environment. But there's a ton of people in the NGCOA that have experiences, and where do you put your capital improvements? I mean, how do you handle food and beverage here out on the pool side? How do you there's a million questions, and we have the venue for answering those questions. And the breakout seminars and the annual convention where the private entities go to their own breakout sessions and such. And yeah, you only need, I found this out years ago. You go to these conventions and you might go 2, 3 years and not learn a doggone thing and think it was a waste of time. And then the fourth year, you get a nugget that it'll bring you, whatever it is you're looking for, whether it's $50,000 more revenue or, 100 or 200,000. I mean, when I broke loose on the dynamic pricing, that was a game changer for Saddleback, just a complete game changer, kind of like this autonomous mowing thing is. But you don't learn that by just, sitting around in your own world. You learn it by talking to other people.
I agree with that 100%. If I go to a week-long seminar or a conference and I learn one thing, it was worth every penny spent getting me there and getting me home because you
Exactly.
never know where that's going to lead. So well said.
Yep.
Well, as you begin your term with the NGCOA as president, what would you like your legacy to be when your presidency concludes in 2028? And what would success look like for both you and the organization and the industry as a whole during your tenure?
Well, I think if nothing else, maybe to accept the where this industry is going with the technology and accept it, and also build in to acknowledge and build into your pricing system for your course the effects of depreciating assets that we have. So as you know, the golf industry, this is not going to be news to you, but with your buildings that you have and your irrigation system and your maintenance building and your maintenance equipment, you've got tens of millions of dollars and it's depreciating, and you got to figure that into your pricing. So I would hope that, golf courses out there, figure that in, and we're in a kind of a golden age of golf, and to be able to build in, capital depletions, and so you can keep putting money back into your facility. I'm telling you, golfers sure do see it and they sure do appreciate it.
Well, we're talking about technology and the mowers, the dynamic pricing and AI and all that, but looking ahead, I mean, obviously you're on the cutting edge of a lot of this stuff. There are some clubs that are like, what does an autonomous mower do and how do I learn more? Where you're actually embracing your entire fleet. Where do you see the greatest opportunities for technology and improving the golf business over, let's say, the next 5 years?
I think it's a no-brainer is AI's interaction with each and every entity software that you have on the already using. Let's say you're using a point of sale. Well, point of sale has, if AI is watching and maybe can help and improve your dynamic pricing situation and or help produce some results in marketing and programming for the private country club side, programming to maybe a certain segment of your membership, that'd be great. Also, on the maintenance side of it, it can fine tune instead of spending 15, $20,000 in fertilization every year. Why don't I spend, uh, $10,000 and only hit the areas that truly need the bump, So I think that's where it's going to be. And you'll see the improvements.
Well, how can facilities strike the right balance between honoring golf's traditions, which I'm a traditionalist, right? I take my hat off when I shake your hand and I wear pants when I play, and I'm not even PGA, but also creating a more approachable experience for the new and younger golfers that only want to play 6 holes and wear hoodies on the golf course.
I think that it depends on who you want to be. If your facility is a $150,000 initiation fee and $1,200 a month dues, you're possibly going to have a certain segment. But if you're in that same category and you're in the middle of Nebraska, maybe that is maybe a little bit laid back, and you don't have to wear then you can wear a t-shirt if you want. If you're a municipal golf course and you are catering to a brand new clientele, maybe you should relax your rules a little bit on and dress code and music in the course and everything that the new generation thinks is fun as hell to get into the game and to see, these places that are using top tracer on their ranges are finding that's what these kids want. That's what the younger generation wants is to add a little bit of fun and cut the stuffiness out of it. And I tend to agree with them, but that's not for everybody. So where does it start and where does it end? I think it's facility by facility on who you want to be.
Well, water conservation is an issue that continues to be an important. I mean, it's not just in the Coachella Valley in the desert; it's all over, but especially in the Western United States. How do you see the industry balancing environmental responsibility and maintaining high quality playing conditions when water is such a hot topic right now?
That's a great question. You probably know Craig Kessler. He's a big figure in your area of the world in the California. Him and I have talked extensively about the Colorado River Compact and how it's going to affect everybody in the southwest region of the country. But almost every golf course superintendent in the state of Colorado is actively trying to reduce irrigation water usage. We've reduced ours substantially, and we're still working on it. But I think more importantly, it's going to come down to a question of why the hell are we wasting so much water on the game of golf? That is what I see come up on my TikToks and such time and time again. And I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm thinking that that's not a fair way to look at it. We can't be a world without any green grass around us because yeah, the green grass is being reduced on the household side of it. You would agree, everybody would agree that it's getting less and less plentiful in the front and backyards of all homes in the high desert areas and all throughout the country. But the one place that you can go are parks and golf courses. Yeah, you have to pay to be at a golf course, and I understand that, but it's still a benefit to society that you can do it. And it's not something that we should readily be willing to throw away.
Tell me more about your team at Saddleback that keeps your operation running smoothly day in and day out. No one gets there alone.
We keep it light. We we tend to uh, we hire and keep a crew of A players across the board, and they know their jobs. And we tend to work hard and laugh. I mean, there's a lot of things to laugh about and have fun with, and don't take yourself too damn seriously. And you find yourself, we have great leaders at Saddleback. We've got Chris, my superintendent, and Jordan and Justin out and Chad as our maintenance guy. But every one of them works their butt off hard, but they laugh and they'll have a good time when it comes and not take it life too seriously. So I think that's kind of where we're at with it and how we keep it going forward.
Well, everybody has to eat and drink. Tell me about the tavern at Saddleback and the food and beverage experience that's available to golfers.
Yeah, we built a clubhouse in 2016, and with the clubhouse came a nice kitchen, and we have a 10 to 15 item menu that burgers and the snacks, and it does really well. We're really well received, and we've got a good crew in the kitchen and the clubhouse too. So.
We talked about beer on the golf course. Any good beers on tap there at the tavern? I mean, any local breweries that you might be working with?
Um, We did, and we pulled those off. So we don't have any local ones anymore. It was too hard to keep a constant flow of the beer coming to us. So we have the old tried and trues, but yeah, I can't think of anything outrageous on the tap for Saddleback.
The performance studio at Saddleback has become a pretty important part of the facility. What services and technology that we've been talking about and experiences does that offer?
We have two bays in there, and we slapped it right on top of the driving range. So you can open up the garage doors in the summer and hit out into the range, and you can it'll still use the TrackMan. You can get the results of all your smash factor and your ball, your spin rates, and all that from it. So you can do a more accurate fitting and see where your ball actually goes. So that's a real big deal. And then in the winter, the screens come down, and we have leagues in that same building. So we have all kinds of teaching opportunities, and Paul McQuaid is our teaching professional. He's really taken it up a notch, and it's been really well received.
What is Saddleback Live, and how often are you using that to showcase the facility and to connect with golfers?
Saddleback Live is essentially a camera system. I think that's a misnomer as far as like a podcast or whatever, but it's mostly just you click on it, you can see the camera, and you can see the conditions at the course at the time. So I actually use it all the time to see what the hell's going on in my own course when I'm traveling.
That's awesome. You can always keep tabs on what it looks like. Is
Yeah.
it 24/7? It's always live?
Yep.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Channel 7, I think, actually uses it on their Sunday news broadcast. I think our local news channel.
That's really cool, and that's a neat technology that again, especially if you have weather. I mean, here in the Coachella Valley, it's like I said, hot or really hot, and it would be neat though, especially during overseed, to be able to see the golf course go from green to brown to green again. That'd be a neat thing to do a time lapse video of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Old Turd Tuesdays is certainly a memorable marketing campaign. Tell me more about how that idea came together and who benefits from that. I'm guessing it's
See, you
older
can't
folks.
say it without laughing.
I know
So
I can't.
that's exactly the way we felt when we did it back in 2001. And we don't take ourselves too damn seriously. We have great conditions and a great environment up there, but we're not we're not the stuffy golf course that your daddy grew up on. This is we take ourselves a little less seriously, and Old Turd Tuesday is fun as hell. When we first put it out, oh, people, we had two or three that were super offended, never going to come to the golf course again, and we said, "Good riddance. Okay, see you later. You're probably not our people anyhow." So uh, we people that come and play on it. I mean, you can't get a tee time on Tuesday. You just can't. I mean, it's full. So we give them a good rate, and it's a green fee and a cart price, and they come out. It's full, and they just enjoy the hell out of themselves, and it kind of sets the tone. Hey, you're coming to play at some place that we got really good standards for conditions and clubhouse and cold beer and a nice sandwich afterwards or whatever. But we're setting the tone for this is who we are. We're just out here to have fun.
That's awesome. Well, I'm only 42, so I don't think I qualify for Old Turd Tuesdays yet.
No,
But
not yet.
well, what you talked a little bit about dynamic pricing, and that's something that while it feels like a new model, it's really not. I mean, airlines have been using it for years and movie theaters, but what is the current rate to play at Saddleback this summer, and how are you using dynamic pricing to ensure that the tee sheet is fair for who's booking these times?
Yeah, the current rate is, it's how long is a piece of string? It's a kind of a loaded question. I go by just our highest rate for a weekend tee time with a cart is right now it's 108. And so it goes down from there. So, if it depends on weather conditions and how fast the tee sheet's playing, filling up, you could play on a Wednesday for 45, $50 with a cart, or it could be 85. It depends on how fast it fills up and what the conditions are and this and that. And it's truly a dynamic model. We use software that was perfected in France and called Pricewing, and it does a really good job. We really have to watch it, but it does a really good job of watching demand, and you get your best deals if you book 2 weeks out. So and as it starts filling up, that the tea time becomes more of a demand, just like an airline or a hotel room or anything else. So it's been a godsend.
Well, I don't think people expect to, if I play in a foursome and I'm a single, that I'm paying the same rate that anybody else paid. And the same thing that if I'm sitting on an airplane, that the person sitting next to me on my left and to next to me on the right's not paying the same price for the plane ticket. It depends on when I booked it, how far in advance I booked it, how far I'm going. I mean, there should be differences in what people pay based on how quickly
Exactly.
they're booking it.
You probably don't remember this, but 30 years ago when the airlines were doing that, they said, "Well, you'll piss people off if you're flying," and they start talking. Then how much did you pay? Well, I paid $400 for this round trip ticket. Well, what'd you pay? Well, I paid 125. Oh, they thought people were just going to be irate, but that's not the case. It's now it's if you want a better rate, well then book out 2 weeks. You give me your commitment 2 weeks out, and then I'll give you my commitment for a lower rate. So it's a quid pro quo, It's just and people they're so used to it. It's beyond yeah. It's just it really is a good way to go.
Well, for golfers that are looking to maybe shave some strokes off their game, any instructional opportunities available? Maybe some lessons with a PGA Pro?
Yeah, I think you want some tips from a 25 handicapper. My tip is to really flick those wrists and really think about different things in your backswing, 20 different things.
I was like, that's not what I want to be hearing right now. I'm literally laughing
No,
out loud.
you never want to take a tip from a 25 handicapper. I'll tell you all kinds of wild stuff.
Well, I gotta ask. I've not played there before, but when I show up, I'm gonna ask you, where's the first tee and what's the course record? Do you know who shot it and what it is?
Oh God, it was years ago, and it was 62. I only really count the sanctioned events through our state association. It was 62, and I can't remember the guy's name, but it's in our clubhouse at Saddleback. But I usually just tell people it's 3.5 hours is our course record for getting around the course. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Have you ever, and this is a technique that I used at a couple of clubs I've worked at with the pace setter tee times. Do you happen to do anything with the first couple of groups out to encourage them to play fast to set the tone for the day?
We don't, but it's a really good idea because, we use an idea that the tea times are squished in the morning because the people going out at 5:30 or 6 in the morning, they're players and they want to move. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you get the second group off, wants to play in 5 hours. You really killed the course. So we try to tell them that the pace setters and to keep a really good pace, but that doesn't always work. So I don't have if I'm open for ideas though.
Well, the most successful program that I was a part of is we offered a break on their food and beverage after golf. So if you played, so let's say the pace was 4 hours and 15, and you played in 3:45, so you played 30 minutes faster, you're helping the entire tee sheet for the rest of the day. We'll give you 50% off your first round of drinks or something to encourage them to come into the dining room. And we saw a noticeable difference in the amount of revenue we generated from those groups and those early morning tea times that are coming in. Well, sure, I'll get a half round. I'll get a breakfast burrito, and I'll
I'm
get a
gonna steal that idea and call it my own. I love
take
it.
it. No, it's all yours. Take it and use it, and just let me know if it works for you.
That's awesome.
What types of outside events are you hosting at Saddleback? I mean, things like corporate events, maybe board retreats, obviously golf tournaments, weddings, anything else?
We're doing a lot of weddings, and since COVID, they just haven't come back, and we haven't really pursued them. We have a little wedding event center that holds about 160 people, so we haven't really pursued that much. But we do other events. We do tournaments. We've restricted tournaments to Monday and Tuesday, Wednesdays, so we don't have as many tournaments as we did pre-COVID. So we do a number of those, and uh, they're pretty well received. So,
Well, as someone who has owned and operated a golf course through some pretty challenging times and also booms, I mean, COVID has been very similar to what Tiger did to the game of golf. I mean, golf is as popular as it's ever been. But what's maybe some advice that you would give some aspiring golf course owners and operators that are entering the business today?
oh, that's easy. From my perspective, after seeing what I've seen, is that price your commodity with pride, and then you stick to it, and try to. Uh, you're going to need a little bit more in pricing than you think, because the like we spoke about earlier, there's so many assets that you need to replace year to year in the golf industry, and you really do need that extra $5 or $10 per start to replace the maintenance equipment and the buildings and the roofs and the irrigate. I got a $3.5 million irrigation system, and it's depleted after 30 years, they say. So that's a tremendous amount of money that has to go back into the operation, or else you're going backwards. So that'd be my advice: is be proud of it. Be prepared to hear a little bit of grumbling about pricing, but it's well worth it when you can do the improvements that you need and the upgrades, and you can go forward, and you're not caught in that death spiral.
Well, you describe yourself as an average golfer rather than an elite player. I would love to tee it up with you, but how does seeing the game through the eyes of an everyday golfer influence your decisions as an owner and operator of this facility?
I look at it as I still see things, and listen to things that the scratch golfers are saying and doing and recommending, and I can appreciate them. I don't put the time and the effort into becoming a better golfer, and but I still respect what they're saying and their opinions. No, not all opinions you listen to, but then being a 25 handicap, well, at least you know what the hell they're talking about, and that helps too. I think it does help to be a player and play your course. I play at least once a week, if not twice, and you can see things that you need to see, like maybe some the greens, you're losing a green, or the irrigation heads are sinking, or something else to that effect. You see it and you notice it, and you can improve it.
Well, as a golf course owner, what keeps you up at night? Is it staffing, budgets, insurance, that irrigation system, guest expectations, capital planning, maybe something else? I mean, what's keeping you up at night as an operator?
You know, eh, that's a great question, but anymore, I don't. We have such a great crew. We got Alex McKinney out there as our director of golf, and Rob Fleming, and Chad as our Rogers mechanic, and Chris Krasavage as our superintendent. They're all. I trust them explicitly to see problems, and well, I guess if there's one thing that kept me up at night, it'd be the water supply in our semi-arid region here in Colorado. It's always an issue, and especially this year with the drought, you really got to be watching it, and we put a 3-phase plan in place, and so that'd be one thing, is water.
Going back to that YouTube content, this isn't really a question. It's just you and your team are having so much fun out there. The jokes, I mean, I listened to one yesterday that I about fell out of my chair. It's just really, really a compliment to you and your team for doing that and to getting the staff to go on camera and tell jokes and just kudos to you and just what has the reaction been from the golfers and the community? I mean, to your point, the old turd Tuesdays, yeah, you've probably pissed some people off, but guess what? I don't want you here if you're not going to enjoy what we're doing.
Yep, that's exactly it. And that's our I mean our marketing guy. I don't think anybody on planet Earth has read as much small print as the he puts out. His small print is funnier than the email, the body of the email. So everybody started reading the small print, and we got the rest of the crew. We got Bryce. He helps make our content on YouTube and our TV commercials, and Alex McKinney, our director of golf. She does the voiceovers and stuff for the commercials, and she helps come up with the content. So we're all part of the content of the commercials and stuff. So everybody's participating, so it's kind of fun.
Well, we have covered a lot of ground today. Is there anything else about Saddleback, about the NGCOA, the future of the golf industry, just anything else that you'd like to share with me here today?
Oh, probably if you're not part of the NGCOA, whether you're a private country club, I've talked to so many people that think that they don't need to belong because they don't really need what we have, and I'm thinking every golf course in the United States needs to be a member of the NGCOA, and it's you don't know what you don't know, and what it provides is just a tremendous amount of information and networking and answers and ideas that you didn't even think of. So I would say that's one of the things I would want to throw out there is to really encourage all golf courses to join up. It's relatively inexpensive, and you get so if you only use our blog site, you would win with that price. It's 100%, yeah. So that'd be the one thing and the one takeaway, I guess.
Well, let's you and me tee it up soon. Where are we playing? Your house, mine? Maybe we do a home and home. What do you want to do?
There you go. That sounds good. I'd love to come to California.
Well, let's wait until the middle of August because we get to like last year I saw 122 on the dial. It got to a little
Good,
over that. Yeah,
good God.
but it's a dry heat.
That's what they all say. And we cry like a little baby when it gets to 100 here in Colorado.
Well, leaders are readers, and there's no doubt you are a leader in this space, both at your club and with the NGCOA. What book are you currently reading?
Oh, I tend to read. I sit on so many ditch boards. I read a tremendous amount of legal decrees and stuff. And when I read, I tend to read just the easy, quick reads, the John Grishams and the such. And when I like the 2 Minute Manager was a good one when I was reading about the management techniques and what have you. But uh, I do a lot of my reading is work related anymore.
Well, this is usually the hardest question that I ask, but this is it's your dream. Anywhere in the world and anyone alive or dead, who's in your dream foursome and where are you playing?
I would the dream foursome. It's weird, but I would like to play with my family members and friends, and I would love to play at other board members of the Golf Course Owners Association. I like going to their courses and just seeing what they got going after sitting and talking for years and years about operations. It really is enjoyable for me to look at how other people operate. So I know it's a strange answer, but that's the one I'm going with.
That's a really good answer. Like imagine just like showing up. And that'd be really cool if the board got together and each year whoever the president is gets together for a retreat at your club. That could be a cool way to end or kick off a presidency.
Yeah, we tried that a couple of years ago here at Saddleback, but because I was the incoming president, but it rained or snowed 6 inches. But when the whole board got here at Denver,
Well, I was in Denver for the Great American Beer Festival last year. We're not going this year because they moved it outside because it's a little iffy. It could either be really, really nice or it could be cold, and I don't know if it snows that early, but I'm staying home.
Yeah, right, right.
Well, I didn't tell you that I am Tiger's biggest fan. I collect his memorabilia, and he's on everything. I'm looking around my office. He's on everything. There's a signature there. There's a poster there. So be careful how you answer this, because you and I have become quick friends here. But he's tied with Sam Snead, 82 official PGA Tour wins. Do you think he gets one more before he retires? I'm not talking majors. I just need one more win.
What a great question. I didn't even realize he was that close to Sam Snead's record. Um, Boy, wouldn't that be fun? Um, can his body handle it? That's the question, right? I think his mind is still there, but I think he can do it. Yes.
Can you imagine what that like? I've literally been on the couch crying, not kidding, when he's not won tournaments, but when he won at Augusta a few years ago. Could you imagine him doing it at Augusta to get to 83? And then when he gets to 83, just disappear. Just go, I don't care what he does from that point on. Don't end your career tied.
Yeah, that'd be something else, wouldn't it? He did so much for this stupid game from 90s, mid 90s, all the way through the mid 2000s. Just it made it explode, and him coming back would be a Wallapalooza, I think. Yeah.
Well, what's next for you and Saddleback? What's the immediate future look like for you in this facility?
Yeah, the mantra here for the next 2 years is no more, no more improvements. We're just gonna train, and improve on what we already have. So making little improvements so our autonomous mowers don't get stuck, raise heads, level them, make the course better, fill in ditches, train people, train, make our staff better, and then that's about it for the next year or two. No more. No more big outlays.
Step into the heart of Scotland with Eden Mill Scotland Experiences. Journey through the art of craft distilling, where tradition meets innovation. From blending your own gin to savoring the finest whiskies, every moment is a celebration of Scotland's rich heritage. Whether you're a whiskey enthusiast, a gin lover, or simply an adventurer at heart, Eden Mill offers experiences you'll never forget. Book your journey today and create memories to last a lifetime.
In golf, the 19th hole is a slang term for a bar or a restaurant on or near the golf course, very often in the clubhouse itself. You have a couple there, but what is your favorite and what are you drinking?
G&Ts, please. Hendrix G&Ts.
You don't want to think about it. I mean, geez,
No,
like
good God, no. I know exactly what I'm going to order.
that's awesome. Oh, well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I mean, it was Jake Karen that first mentioned your name to me and encouraged me to reach out. I'm so glad that I did, and this has been fantastic, and I can't wait to come visit. I mean, it's not far. We have direct flights from Palm Springs, so thank you for all that you do, and I can't wait to see where you go and where you grow from here.
I appreciate it, Ricky. Good talking to you.
That puts this instalment of the Wednesday Match Play podcast in the books. But we'll be back next week for another exciting episode of the show.